I want to talk for a second about the Lee Safety Prime. This is the newest version of the Safety Prime. You can tell if you have the newest version or not because in the newest version, this part of the Safety Prime, the primer placer, is a light colored plastic for both the large and the small primers. If you have one that has a black one of these for the large primers, that's an older model. When I tried to use the new Safety Prime, I had a lot of trouble. Primers would not seat correctly, or they would jump out on the floor. I discovered a secret that allowed me to use the new Safety Prime with near 100% accuracy. For many years I used this Auto Prime 2 system. The parts of the system are a tray. You orient the primers by shaking the tray just like you do in the more modern primer systems. There is a ram. You use the shell holder for the caliber that you're loading. You have a die here with another ram inside of it with a spring. And finally the primer feeder tube. And of course the primer feeder tube and the tray both come in large and small. This one is for small primers. Okay, here's the Auto Prime 2 set up on a Challenger press. The ram here at the bottom catches the primer from the tube and brings it up to a point where you can actually see it there at the top of the shell holder. This is a 38 shell holder, putting in a 38 shell. I prime it. Looks great. This worked perfectly fine for me for many, many, many years. I finally decided to upgrade to the Lee Classic turret press. I was unable to use the Auto Prime 2 effectively on this press, so I also purchased the Lee Safety Prime. The Safety Prime does have some advantages. For one thing, it actually is safer because the primer being loaded is not in contact with the rest of the primers. I had a problem with my Lee Safety Prime where primers would seat into the little cup at an angle like that instead of being flat in a cup. A lot of times they would not even seat in the cup, they would just jump out of the cup and onto the floor. So at one time I was loading more primers onto the floor than I was into the shells. Here's a little tip. If you take a little piece of duct tape, you can get a primer out of there easily that's stuck sideways or even upside down. Now I was continuously having these problems with the primers cockeyed or jumping out of the press until I performed this maintenance that Lee recommended on this part of the Safety Prime. Now I'm getting 100% perfect primer placement every single time. That's 3 in a row there. In order to fix this problem with primers cockeyed or jumping out all over the floor, you work on the primer placement mechanism. First of all, you open up the trigger assembly by putting a pin or a blunt instrument there to release the cover. You might need 2 hands for this. Next, you open up the cover completely and slide out the cover and the slider. You completely remove the slider from the cover and place it around a 1/4 inch bolt, oriented the way it is here. Put the bolt inside a cup of boiling water for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, when you take it out of the boiling water, allow it to cool down naturally. Then remove the plastic piece from the bolt. You will see that it's been stretched out. Now reinstall the slider into the trigger assembly and snap the cover back on. After I did these things, my Lee safety prime worked perfectly. I hope yours does too. Thanks.